Hello. That startled me seeing. I scared my dog back there. Oh, Scruffy. She's right there. Say hi, Scruffy. Hmm. Hello, one person. I hope other people will come, but I guess I'll just start the live stream now. Feel free to say hi in the chat if you'd like to. Uh, that clever title, well, not too clever. I copied it from a comedian who has Asperger syndrome, which is a type of autism. Asperger syndrome is a kind of autism. It's on the autism spectrum, and uh, today I'm going to be talking about autism and bullying. Not just Asperger's. I know that the thing says Asperger's, but it's not just Asperger's. It's autism. But I thought, hey, that's kind of creative, isn't it? So when you have Asperger syndrome and autism, I keep saying Asperger's just because of the title. uh, Growing up, I don't know about everyone else, but I was bullied a lot in school. And I assume it was because I acted very different than the other kids. I think I was less mature than them because, in some ways, like I think it's immature to bully someone. But I mean, like I thought younger than they did, I guess. So I acted very differently. So I was bullied a lot. For example, there was a guy in my class who would just bully me because I guess I was different. And some things that I would do because I have Asperger syndrome is like, I assume I had weird tics, like, not tics, but like I had like weird things I would do. For example, I would do a thing where I would put my fingers in my ears repeatedly. It was a thing that I would do while I was working. I would be typing on my laptop in grade 6, and I would put my fingers in my ears, and I would do it repeatedly. And it would be like a guy in my class noticed it and told his sister, and I was friends with his sister, and she told me, I asked him, "Oh, what does your brother think of me?" And she said, "Well, he says that you will put your fingers in your ears, type on your laptop a little bit, and then put them back in your ears." It was a weird thing that I did. And like, I don't know why I did it, but it was weird. There was another thing I did where, for example, I had like a pencil. I know this is a pen, but I had a pencil. I would do a thing where I would do this. I put my fingers in my ears, and I would have to catch it before my fingers. I have to take my fingers out of my ears and catch it before it hit the ground. Like, didn't always work, and I'm surprised that it didn't get attention from the other classmates because like that was something that they just didn't seem to notice, or the teacher didn't say anything. It was weird. Or I'm gonna say something, but Christmas spoiler. If you don't want, if you're young and you don't want Christmas to be ruined for you, not ruined, but if you don't want something about Christmas to be ruined for you, I'm not gonna say what it is yet. You might want to leave. I'm gonna give you a minute. It's something that is kind of a big deal to people who are young. Okay, I've given time to leave. Santa's not real. Oh gosh, I hope that someone who believes in Santa didn't stay. Uh, and I believed in Santa up until I was 12. And I don't know if that's too old, but I think it might have been because everyone else in my class knew that Santa wasn't real. And it was weird. They were the ones to tell me Santa wasn't real. And I think that, again, I thought very differently. I thought a lot younger than they did. So I still believed in Santa up till the time I was 12, and that's almost a teenager. That's almost 13. And I went home that day and I asked my mom, "Is Santa real?" And she said no. And again, that might have been because of my autism that I still believed in Santa because I thought younger than they did, of course. They were jerks about it too, the way that they told me. I don't know, remember, it wasn't even near Christmas. But basically, the biggest thing was I had a best friend. We were so close. And this best friend, she knew I had autism. I told her because her mom told her. I don't remember, I don't know why, but that's not something. Another thing is autism and privacy. Do not tell someone that someone else has autism unless they say you can tell. I've made the mistake of doing that before and I shouldn't have, but do not. Like, I'm okay with people knowing, but like, for example, like if my mom went and told someone I had autism, well, she knows that I'm okay. But if I had a friend who knew and they went and told someone else, oh yeah, she has autism, that would be not good. That would be, unless they knew I was okay with it. But if they didn't know that I was okay with it, they would be like, they would just be like kind of violating my privacy. And I think that that's not a good idea. So this best friend, she knew I had autism and we were so close, but I'm not going to say who she is. So we're going to call her Jenny. We're going to call her Jenny. Okay. So Jenny, because I still know her and she's actually very, very nice now. She's super nice. Jenny had friends who didn't like me, I guess. Again, I acted really weird because I acted differently because I acted a lot younger, I think, because like I did things that were not considered normal or not considered neurotypical, I guess. And Jenny wanted to be their friend too. She wanted them to like her, so she bullied me. She went along with them being weird. For example, here's an example of something that they did, that she did. First of all, in grade 6, we had to take a class that was sex ed, where we had to learn about like, the sexual reproductive system and like sex and all that jazz. Anyway, basically, I find that stuff really, really interesting, and I did when I was younger. So I found that stuff really interesting, so I was kind of excited for it because I was like, I want to learn this. So my friend was like, oh, I can't believe we have to take sex ed. And the person who just joined is like, I'm going to leave now. The person who just joined the live stream is like, what? Bye. Basically, she's like, oh, I can't believe we have to take sex ed. Like, let us have our innocence a little bit longer. And I'm just like, well, first of all, you know about all that stuff. I'm just thinking, first of all, you know about all that stuff. Well, I'm not thinking about that now, or at that time, but I'm thinking now. Like, you know about the stuff that exists. Like, you and I make jokes about it when we hang out and have a sleepover. Like, you're not super innocent, Jenny. So basically, I say to her, I'm kind of excited. And she and her friends go, what? And she runs off. She runs off to her friend. I'm going to call her Mary. She's like, Mary. And she runs off. And I bolt. I run away. And I hide behind a play structure because we had a playground because we were 12. And first of all, playgrounds are freaking awesome. Okay, still, swings, amazing. Anyway, so I hide behind a play structure and just read all recess because I'm hiding. I don't want her to see me. So when the recess bell rings, so she runs to her friend, I run away and read. So basically, when the recess bell rings to come inside, I bolt. I run and run. I should have actually waited a little bit longer until she was inside if I didn't want to be confronted. But I'm not saying that I should have. I'm not saying like, oh, I shouldn't have. I'm not saying that I should have stayed hidden. Like, I know now that hiding from your problems isn't the way to go. But basically, I run, and she sees me. So she runs to me and she says, Madeline, I told everyone what you said, and now everyone thinks you're a perv. Because I was excited for sex ed, because I find that stuff really interesting. Like, and again, I had a book that talked about puberty and growing up and stuff like that. And I loved it because I thought it was interesting. It talked about emotions. It talked about acne. It talked about sex. It talked about growing up. It talked about periods. It talked about like your changing body. And yeah, if you're young, maybe ask your parents. But anyway, and she saw that I had it, and she's like, I'm going to tell people you have that. And I love the book, but I was like, please don't tell people. She's like, I'm going to tell people. And that isn't a person who should have been my friend. I shouldn't have stayed her friend as long as I did. I should have stopped being her friend the minute she started being a jerk to me. Or like not the minute, I guess, because people do mean things, but like the minute I felt like she wasn't a good friend, I should have left, and I didn't because I didn't have many friends. And now I don't know if all of that has to do with my autism, if all of me acting differently had to do with my autism, but I have autism. I was bullied in school. So, another thing, for example, when I said I didn't have many friends, I did have a few, but most of my friends were imaginary. For example, I loved the Smurfs. Oh, I actually had a crush on Papa Smurf. Gosh, I had a crush on Papa Smurf. I got a crush on Brian May, Alan Rickman. What is it with me and like that? Anyway, oh my goodness. But basically, I liked the Smurfs, and I would pretend that they were real, and I would talk to them. I would pretend they were my friends, and I would talk to them, and I would have full-on conversations with them. I would make up stories with them, and like I did that even in junior high, and it was fun. And also, I had multiple imaginary boyfriends. I would draw characters and I pretend that I was dating them. I would draw guys with cat ears, and I wasn't into anime at the time. So, can't blame anime for that. But also, I was into anime, but I was only into Pokemon. And I had a crush on a character named Silent. Silent is, he was the Stratton City gym leader. And he was in Pokemon Black and White. And that was actually the game that I got Jenny into when we were still friends. And basically, I had a huge crush on Silent. He was like 16 in the anime. So if I was 12 and I was dating a 16-year-old, that 16-year-old is not good. Okay. I should have known. But anyway, I pretended I was dating him. I don't know if I knew how old he was, but anyway, I had a crush on him and I pretended he was real, and I would have full-on conversations with him. My recesses would be filled with me talking to him, making up stories of Pokemon adventures with him, and talking to Ash and everyone, like Misty and Brock and everyone like that. And Ash's mom, I did a thing where, Ash and I were a similar age, so I did a thing where like, oh, I had to pretend to be dating Ash to meet his mom, and it was, anyway, that was me when I was 12. So, so basically, I don't know if imaginary friends were a thing that people really had back then when you're 12. I don't know. So if you have one when you're 12, I'm not going to judge you. But basically, like, I acted a lot differently than most of the kids. Like one time, my class had to actually form a search party for me because I was in the bathroom, sitting on the vanity after recess before going to class, waiting for someone to come out of the stall to scare them, and they didn't know where I was, so they had to form a search party for me because I didn't realize the time. So that was embarrassing, to say the least. And I knew it wasn't normal because I was embarrassed. I was so embarrassed. Well, I didn't realize how I was so embarrassed because they were really worried, and I hate making people worried. Like, oh my gosh, I hate it. So being different with autism and being bullied is not fun. It did stop in grade 9, which was really good. I stopped being bullied in grade 9 because once I got into high school, most people were so nice. But basically, yes, my autism was very noticeable. Does this make my ASSpergers look big? And yeah, I didn't enjoy school for a bit because of how different I acted. Like I had once had a guy threaten to snap my neck in grade 4 because I don't know why. but he bullied me a lot, like for a few years, even though I kept getting invited to his birthday parties and he kept inviting me. I kept going. But, when you're a kid, you get invited to a birthday party and you're like, hey, let's do this, And I don't know how needed this episode was, but talking about Asperger's and autism and bullying, I think it was a good idea. But I guess I just talked about how much I was bullied, but like not really about. This has been my experience. And like I said in the last episode, if you've met one person with autism, you've met one person with autism, because we're all different. So everyone has a different experience. So I can't speak for somebody else, for example. But like I had a friend who had autism, Michael. That's not actually his name, but I called him Michael for privacy. I don't know if he was bullied. He had some good friends. He had some friends who were like really close and like really loyal. I don't know how he was treated at school because we didn't go to the same school because he lived very far away from me. So it took like an hour to drive to his house. So that was this was autism and bullying. I don't know if I should retitle it, but I like the title. Does this make my Asperger's look big? So I don't really know what else to say, but I guess I just like to share my experiences. So I'm going to end the stream. Best title. Thank you, the music man. I'm going to end the stream now because I have to go work out on the elliptical before work because work, meh. No, just kidding. I don't hate my job. Please don't fire me. I like my job. So I'm going to see you guys later. And you know what? I'm actually going to give you guys, I'm going to give credit for who I got that title from. Does this make my Asperger's look big? So basically, excuse me, the guy who I got this from, his name is Michael McCreary. I'm going to put his name in the chat. And again, you guys won't see that when it's not live. So Michael, Micheal, McCreary. He's very funny. I went to see one of his shows down in when I visited the city in Charlottetown. And it was very, 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 very fun. He was hilarious. It was hilarious. I loved it. It was very funny. So I'm going to see you guys in the next video, in the next live stream. Bye-bye. Wait, has it ended? Oh, yes. No. Okay. Bye-bye.